Feel the grip of the oar handle, smooth yet firm in your hands. Taste the salt of your own sweat and the occasional splash of water. It's all part of the journey. Welcome to another episode of Faster Masters Rowing Radio. Each week, our host, Masters rowing coach Rebecca Caro, dives deep into the world of Masters rowing. Whether you're on the water or in the gym, join us to become a faster master. Let's go rowing.
Well, hello everybody and welcome to another edition of Faster Masters Rowing Radio. I'm Rebecca Caro and today I've got a very exciting interview. Each year, Faster Masters Rowing has sponsored a prize at the British Masters Rowing Championships called the Victor Ludorum, which is Latin for the winner above all winners. And it's the club trophy for the club that wins the most points across all the events. And today I'm delighted to welcome the 2024 winner to join me on the podcast, James Sexton-Barrow from London Rowing Club. Welcome.
Hello, it's lovely to be here. Thank you.
So, James, well done. What a great achievement. But did you expect you were going to win it?
Well, we thought we had a pretty good shot at it. I think we had a really big spreadsheet with lots of crews and how many points we thought we might win. We had kind of, I guess, touch wood. We had not assumed. We worked out if we came fourth in every event on average, how many points we would get, and we figured out that would probably put us in a position to win if we'd achieve that. So yeah, I think going into it, I don't know. We hoped, I suppose, that if that came off, that might be the case. But yeah, we were still pretty pleased. I remember getting the message to say you've won, and I did have butterflies in my stomach, kind of receiving that message in the few hours building up to it. Has it really worked out? Has it worked? So we'd seen some really good results from other clubs coming in over the weekend, and we were kind of going, oh, maybe we're going to fall short. And so yeah, it was still a really big sense of achievement, I suppose, in the moment when we got the message. Yeah.
As it should. Well, it was a great achievement. So tell us a little bit about the common goal for London Rowing Club as a overall piece. Your masters group, like how big is it and how often do you train?
Yeah, so a bit of background is, I guess, London Rowing Club has a lot of masters. We're a very, very big club. In fact, I don't know this, but I'll be willing to put money on that if you were to add up all the numbers of masters at every club in the country, we're probably the biggest in terms of membership that allows you to go rowing, i.e. not a social member or a gym member, for example. And so this journey started this time last year when a dozen of us or so went to the British Masters 2023. There was no effort at all there to try and win the Victor Ludorum. It was just, an 8 and a 4 and a couple of doubles or something that were turning up to have a go at the regatta. And we saw Monmouth win the Victor Ludorum last year, and we saw, the celebrations and the pictures, and it was kind of on the drive back home to London that we were going, God, well, we've got loads of members back at London. Like if we kind of got ourselves organised and came back en masse, we could have a really good shot at this, and that could be us in the photos next year. Wouldn't that be a great thing to do? And so that was the start. Literally, it was on the drive back to London was kind of where the idea started. And then I think it kind of came about in earnest, I suppose, maybe at the start of the new year. There was London Rowing Club has lots of sort of subcommittees that sit within it to kind of organise the running of the club. And there was a rowing subcommittee meeting, which I don't sit on. But one of the vice captains came out of that and went, by the way, I've told everyone that you're going to organise the Victor Ludorum campaign for British Masters this year. So good luck with that. So I was like, oh, great. Okay, well, that's happening then. And so I guess it started in earnest in let's say January, February time, where we started going, right, we've now got this. There's a date in the future that we need to be ready for. And I suppose the first step in doing that really was, the first we London Rowing Club, like I say, we have lots of masters, lots of different groups. There's I'd probably, if I was to put a number on it, I think there's probably 100 to 120 masters rowers at London. yeah, probably somewhere around that. It's a huge group, but and as you'd expect with a number that size, it's kind of fragmented into lots of little bits. There are older members, younger members. We've kind of got a fledgling young women's masters group. Some that are more social rowers, some that are more high performance. There's lots of different kind of groups within all of that, and so who all have their own objectives or their own things they're trying to get out of the sport. And so the first piece was, well, how do we get everybody bought into this common goal? So, how do we get the more recreational rowers? How do we get the younger rowers, the older rowers, everybody kind of going, right, we're all in for this main thing. And that started, we had a kickoff meeting where kind of every master at the club was welcome to come along. I introduced the concept of what the British Masters Rowing Championships were. And we spoke about, look, this is the thing that we could do. Ultimately, we just thought it'd be really cool to do, because I guess London Rowing Club was founded as a club to win medals at Henley Royal Regatta. That's the reason the club exists, why it was founded. And so if you walk around London Rowing Club, you'll see lots of photos on the wall of Henley winners and people that have been to World Championships and Olympic Games. And that's what we celebrate as a club. And the Masters are, a big part of the club. In fact, on membership numbers, we're probably the biggest group within the club. But our photos aren't on the wall anywhere. And so it kind of the rallying cry, if you like, was, well, look, this is the thing that we can all do. We can all band together with this common goal, and that can be our photo on the wall next year, the thing of us lifting the Victor Ludorum. So with that, really, it was people got behind it very quickly. It was really nice to see. It didn't take much convincing to kind of get all these different groups to come together and go, yeah, we're in for that. Let's give it a go.
That sounds amazing, and well done for getting so much energy together. Although I have to say, a small bit of me is mildly surprised that you'd never done it before as a club. But congratulations for the grand awakening. But no journey comes without its challenges. So what were the hiccups along the road?
Yeah, so, well, I suppose, hiccups on I suppose the biggest thing is exactly that, trying to get all these different groups. So we only have so much equipment and really so much space on the trailer, I guess, was the first thing. So the very first thing was trying to organise how many boats we could physically enter into the British Masters. We had this idea that we've got loads of members and we're going to enter this en masse with lots of numbers, and that's kind of the strategy. Like there's nothing more to it than, it's quite blunt, but lots of people racing lots of boats equals points. How can we do that? So there was a big logistical challenge around physically how many boats can we get on the trailer, and we had to work that out very early on, actually, to work out, well, then how many boats can we enter, so who can be in those boats, and so what boats is it worth training in between, let's say, January and the regatta. So we kind of almost had to start with that and work back to kind of say, right, this boat can enter, but this boat can't, because we physically don't have enough space on the trailer to take it to Nottingham to race. And so I suppose there was a big piece around there about logistics, but also expectation management. Lots of people wanting to enter lots of different events, but we kind of had to work out, well, we need to share lots of equipment. So every 4-person boat that we took had to be able to be rowed as a quad as well as a sweep boat, because we go, well, we can't afford to take a boat that can only be rowed as a sweep boat because it needs to be used on the Saturday to row as a quad. And so there were certain divisions, if you like, where we had all of our 4s on the water at the same time. We go, well, there is physically no more space on the trailer to put another boat. And so, kind of, sorry, X number of people, but you physically can't enter your boat because we don't have enough space to take it. So that was a big challenge, I guess, around just the physical logistics of organising what was just short of 70 people. I think we had 67 people taking part from London Rowing Club across 2 divisions in different boat types, just physically sharing the equipment. Other challenges were, I suppose, around trying to balance collective versus individual goals. So we had kind of set off from the start to say, the ambition here is to win the Victor Ludorum. We're being very clear that is our single-minded objective, is to win the Victor Ludorum. And to do that, we require lots of points. And so it doesn't necessarily require you to win every single event you enter, but it requires you to do quite well at lots of events that you enter. And so we were kind of going, well, we can't prioritize certain boats that's, maybe a gold medal chances, because the collective goal is to try and do as well as we can across a broad base of individuals. And so balancing training time, I suppose, between what may be an individual, or actually, let's take myself. So I rowed in the men's B pair with my friend Rob, and we were going out in that boat, and we were trying to train really hard in that boat. And we wanted to do as well as we possibly could in that boat class. But at the same time, we had a collective goal. And so we can't spend all of our time just in that pair, because by doing that, we're neglecting other boats that we were taking part in. And so we're diminishing the chances of that boat doing well by just focusing on our own kind of private goal. So, yeah, I think for the most part, it worked out very well, and we didn't have to have many difficult conversations, but just trying to balance that sort of individual versus the collective goal. And I'm really pleased to say that by and large, most people were bought into the collective goal of trying to win this thing. Because like you say, it's kind of surprising that given the size of the Masters rowing group at London, that we haven't even tried to win this before. And it was something that the group really kind of got behind, and we're like, yeah, we're in for that. So yeah.
Tell us a bit about the age ranges that you had within your group of 67 people.
Oh God, everybody. We had, so in fact, to start from the youngest age, we have lots of people in our group who are Masters A rowers, who actually, I understand the reasons, just to be really clear, but Masters A category wasn't offered at the championships. It was kind of B was the youngest category that you could enter. I totally understand why that is. But we had lots of younger Masters A, so 27 to 34, 36, sorry. That age group, so maybe people that had rowed in senior squads and kind of retired, or for whatever reasons, and would transitioning to Masters groups, who really wanted to take part in this, and actually were quite sad that there wasn't going to be a Masters A category for them to compete in. So we're trying to balance them. So obviously they can still race, but they have to be averaged out with older people. So it was actually quite difficult, and there was a fair few people who couldn't race. Because of that, they were just too young to go into boats, and we couldn't really work out the logistics for them to share boats. But I think for the most part we could. So we literally had people from, I think 28 was the youngest person that we had taking part, right up to, I don't know the exact age, actually. I do. I have a spreadsheet open that I can tell you.
Band. Do you know what age?
Early 70s would be the oldest taking part. So we had, A through to H or whatever. It was the oldest. I think we had an H double scull was maybe the oldest that we had taking part. But what was so fantastic is that all those age groups were totally happy to mix and match. There wasn't a kind of feeling of like, oh no, I'm only going to row with other Masters B, or I'm only going to row with other Masters H. Everybody was quite happy to come together to average it out, which made the organisation of trying to field as many boats as possible quite relatively easy, I suppose. It could have been a lot harder.
How many races on average do people do over the weekend?
So it was just over 3. I think the average, the average person did 3.1 races over the weekend, sculling and sweeping. And again, just people's willingness to get behind it. So people that perhaps scull most of the time and didn't feel that comfortable sweeping kind of said, look, for the purpose of this cause, if you need somebody to go into an 8 to sweep, I'll do it. Like, throw me in the boat, and I'll do it. So, yeah, it was a fantastic effort of everybody coming together and kind of going, I'm here for the higher cause, as opposed to just my own personal preference, which ultimately made it what it was.
So were all of your crews in the age group racing? You weren't in the club divisions?
We had the intermediate categories. Yes. So to go, we did have a few intermediate entries, and I think we kind of set out with this Vic Ludorum, championship events are where those points are won. There are points available if you win the intermediate categories, absolutely, but we didn't want to dissuade anybody from taking part in that. So, I think a big part of the reason those events exist is so that broad sections of clubs can get involved in the championships. And, I lean into that and think it's a very admirable and good thing to do, because it does, some Masters rowers are, they don't want to go as fast as they can. They want to kind of just take part and feel a part of the common goal. And so, if we had a few people that wanted to do that, and absolutely fine, they could do that. And we had a few that wanted to do that, but also racing the championship events as well, and kind of just challenge themselves to give it a go. And that was fantastic to see. So we sort of had a mix of the two. I think we maybe had, I don't know, half a dozen crews in the intermediate events, but mostly it was the championship events. Yeah.
Right. Looking to the future now. So what next for the group at London Rowing Club?
What next to the group at London Rowing Club? Well, we've got Henley Masters in a few weeks' time. So we've got 3 8s and a few double sculls entered into that. So that will be the immediate task, is to try and do as well as we possibly can do at that. But then going beyond that, so post that we'll wind up for the season. But looking ahead to next year, we know the World Masters Championships are in Banyoles in Spain 2025. And there's been a few people that already, I get off the back of kind of the success we've had in Nottingham, they've kind of gone, oh, wow, like maybe we should go for the World Masters and try and see what we can do there. Which is, I don't know, we haven't even begun thinking about it yet, but it's a goal out there on the horizon. So I guess we'll go into next season with that as a sort of goal. There's been lots of chat about trying to retain the Victor Ludorum. So we'll maybe see how that goes. But I think we had some really stiff competition from several clubs this year, just looking at number of entries and what they did. So I don't think our strategy of kind of get as many entries in as possible will work again. So this, I know, a warning or I don't know what it is to other clubs that may be listening, but yeah, we will be smarter next year in our strategy, I suppose. But yeah, we'll take some time to enjoy it first, I suppose, is the first thing. We're going to enjoy this moment. We're going to enjoy the win, and we'll come back next year. Yeah, we'll come back stronger.
And get that photograph on the wall of the club.
Get the photograph on the wall of the club. Yes, plans are in motion for that, so yes.
James, thank you very much for joining me. It's been a delight and really great to hear about the journey of the group from London Rowing Club to success at the British Masters Rowing Championships.
No, well, yeah, thank you for having me. It's been lovely to chat.
So this has been Faster Masters Rowing Radio. Till next time.
We are part of the Rowing Chat Podcast Network. Please tell your fellow rowers about the show. If you've learned just one helpful thing from today's episode, please consider supporting the show for as little as $1 per month by visiting fastermastersrowing.com/podcast.